Welcome to the closing bell on the 20th of August. The markets are dead, seriously. I've been struggling to find something interesting to talk about this week with the US pretty much in the middle of summer holidays. Half the desks over there are cleared out and people are off having a good time, and markets are drifting. And, I've been telling you this rally has been going up into very stiff resistance. And we're just at that point where the markets have rallied up. They're not really seeing the selling pressure yet, but they're not really breaking out or anything like that. So look, the whole situation right now, as far as I'm concerned, is one where you should probably be focusing on your golf or whatever it is you like doing, rather than trying to eke a few bucks out of the market right here, because I think the risks are quite heightened that things could turn down at some point, and maybe as people come back from holidays over in the US over the next few weeks, volume will pick up and we'll get some direction. We've had big inflation figures in the UK, as you probably know. So, interest rates have started to head back up. That's a bit of a bearish development, but not enough to scare everyone off just yet. So it's in a bit of limbo as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to show you where the stocks are at, where gold is at, because that's actually turning down again. I know many of you are interested in gold. And just do a follow-up on a few stocks I showed you a few weeks ago, just so you can get a sense of, when I show you these stocks and give you a bit of a tip on what to look at, maybe it's worth listening to. So let's just have a look at the S&P 500 very quickly. So with this chart, the way I see this development of this sell-off, and it's been a really tough time in the markets, and obviously the question on everyone's lips, is this the beginning of the next wave up to the upside, and should we all be buying this? Well, for me, as you know, the long-term trend, I believe, is down. And the way these sell-offs develop, they do take a lot of time, and they often fool people with these bear market rallies that go on and on. And what I want you to see here when I show you this chart is what I tell you about so often, which is those ranges. So, I look at these ranges and how they develop. We've had this initial sell-off, and then we get the reaction. So then I'm looking at that midpoint or point of control as the important area. And then you can see the market from there has had these oscillations, hasn't it? Where it's had these false breaks of the edge of the range, right, on either side. And then the false break of the high of the range there. And prices go back to the midpoint. And then off it goes on a big wave to the downside. So I want you to see as well that the same thing is happening down here. So if we just quickly transfer that over to what we're seeing right now, and we think of it in the same way of price action creating these ranges around an important point of control, you'd see that this S&P has had the wave to the downside, big reaction. And now we're in that phase of creating these false breaks of the bottom of the range and heading back to the point of control. And here we are at the top of the range, possibly setting up for the false break of the top of that range, which would then head back to the point of control for starters, and potentially the next wave down in the move. So this is just how markets move. And once you get used to it, you know not to start buying it when it's in this phase, breaking out above one of those highs. This is the area where lots of people who are short are getting taken out. And look, I could end up being wrong, but this is just one of those times when I think it's at high risk, where if the momentum turns down, that really is your perfect point to get short. If you see what happened back here, tries to rally, can't carry on with it. Once you have the false break, that was your opportunity to get on. And I think you'll remember that I actually did tell you about that at the time when it was starting to sell off then, saying that watch out, this is where it could turn back down. So that's sort of how I see the stock market. I really am not that keen on buying it right here. I've taken some profits. There are some opportunities building in individual stocks, I can see. But I think there will be another wave of weakness coming up. So let's move on to gold. So this is a gold price, and we know this well. This correction has been going on for a couple of years now, where it's been stuck in a range. And this was, the all-time high. There was the correction, and all of the price action since I've been basically analysing based on, the buy and sell zones of that range and the point of control, the midpoint, which is the absolute fulcrum of all of this price action at the moment, and that's around 1880. I need prices really back above there in gold for me to get a bit more bullish. And if we're looking at the bearish case, you can see weekly trend is down. If we're looking at the move from the highs and we just trace out those waves that we've seen, you'll see that, this downtrend is not under threat. It actually does need to get above 1880, that point of control of the whole range, to threaten that weekly sort of wave structure on the way down. And we are actually seeing a weekly sell pivot shaping up. And I don't know what it did last night, but things aren't looking that fabulous for gold right here. We really do need to see it now back above, $1,800 pretty soon to get bullish at all. Once we get this weekly sell pivot in place, and that weekly downtrend is sort of being confirmed by this move that we're seeing with that weekly sell pivot. So it's sort of confirming that the selling pressure is there around that 10-week moving average, which is where you'd expect it. And tell you what, there's a hell of a level below here, which is the bottom of that structure around 1680. It bounced off there recently and managed to survive. I guess the question is, what happens if it does actually break below that level? And I think you will see quite a clear out, and it could be multiple $100. I mean, you just don't know. But, long term, I think that could be the spot where it sets itself up for another nice big wave higher. You'll see that just on the big picture, it's had a massive run over that previous years, 2019 to 2021. So really, it hasn't had much of a retracement of that wave. So maybe it needs to just have a real clear out and then be ready to head off back to the upside. So that's just probably the key point this week, is that gold is looking a little sketchy once that weekly sell pivot is in place. So I just wanted to finish up. By showing you a few stocks I gave you a few weeks ago. I gave you Bowen Coal, BCB, which I'd seen a presentation of at the Noosa conference. I told you about that stock when it was trading 28 cents just a few weeks ago. That is now up at 36 cents. So that is a pretty impressive move over just a number of weeks. I hope a few of you managed to get onto that one. I also told you about Bigtiincan Holdings at 62 cents. I was showing you the major structures and the monthly buy pivot that was coming into place. So that was around 62 cents when I told you about that. That's up at 76 cents now, just a matter of weeks later. And also I gave you Tietto that was trading around 47 cents at the time, but I did say probably wait for the monthly buy pivot to be confirmed and then buy it on the back foot. So that's still in place now, where I'm really a buyer of that around the mid to low 40s, and still do like it. So that's the sort of stuff I really do try to give you every now and again when I do see some stocks, and really that's my main job, is searching for individual stocks. So if you do like the closing bell and you like my analysis of world markets, maybe you should be joining me to do some trading of the individual stocks, and you'll get the chance to do that in a few weeks. There's something that you should keep your eyes peeled for. So that's all I'll go on about today, and I will come back with more next week. Cheers.